Plans to pass the Kerry-Boxer bill out of committee are moving forward. Late yesterday, co-author Barbara Boxer updated the timeline for her Environment Committee to start hearings on the climate bill and eventually start the markup process. Clean Sky's Tyler Suiters is here now after the latest round of predictions from Senator Boxer. So Tyler, according to her last prediction, it seems hearings already should have started.
Right. I think you need to take all of her latest predictions, Susan, with something of a grain of salt. Let's be rational about this, because back on September 30th, at the rollout of the Kerry-Boxer bill, a major event on Capitol Hill, Barbara Boxer said that within weeks she expected to start this process. That was back on September 30th. Yes, she is still in that time frame in terms of being within weeks of starting the hearing process on October 27th, but that was not the impression I got when I heard her say that. It seemed that she wanted more urgency to this, that by now, that is October 14th, she expected the hearing process to have begun, maybe even have been complete, and the markup to have started. Part of the reason for the delay, the modeling process, going through the economic analysis of what this bill would do. The problem here, there are simply so many variables. We talked about the placeholders for various energy sectors. Also, a complete lack of any firm numbers for emissions allocation, so running these numbers and all the different variables is taking longer perhaps than expected. Now, when I talked to members of the staff on the EPW committee, Barbara Boxer's committee, they never specifically referred to a delay in this process. Yesterday, Barbara Boxer did say that her staff and other staff members have been working day and night on this draft, and so far they are encouraged.
The latest draft of the chairman's mark, which is almost the final draft. The reason we don't say the final is because depending on how it comes back from the EPA, we may have to tweak something, and there may be a couple of colleagues that have a eureka moment and they want to talk about something, but it's basically the final draft. Has been sent to the EPA for analysis, and happy to tell you the modeling will be completed in time for legislative hearings later this month.
So it seems like that was indeed exactly what they were waiting for, Susan, the modeling process to come to an end. October 27th is the first of 3 hearings, and stop me if you've heard this one before. The list of witnesses for the EPW committee: Stephen Chu, Ken Salazar, Lisa Jackson, all of them were at a hearing just a few months ago. I don't know what they could say that would be different this time around, but also FERC Chairman John Wellinghoff, Transportation Secretary Ray LaHood, they will be here for this round.
Okay, so tell us about this markup process. This is when we will really see what the Republicans want.
Right. So far, it's all been Democratic voices in terms of what goes into Kerry-Boxer. The markup process, according to Barbara Boxer, will begin either the week of November 2nd or the week of November 9th. One of those two. It depends on how the hearing process goes and probably how health care goes as well. But yes, this will be the first chance to see what Republicans want to put in this bill, the first public markup of Kerry-Boxer, of this climate legislation. For her part, Barbara Boxer says that, quote, "Our bill will reflect the priorities of our committee." You can read that to mean that the Democrats will get exactly what they want because they have such a large margin in terms of membership on EPW. However, this will not necessarily be the only markup session involving the Kerry-Boxer bill. That's because so many committees in the Senate potentially have jurisdiction here. And Boxer was very clear to say yesterday that only so far the Energy and Natural Resources Committee has finished its work on this issue.
We know we're waiting for language from the Ag Committee. They may do it in their committee or offer it to Senator Reid as he puts together the bill, such as he's doing with health care. The Finance Committee has jurisdiction over the trade piece, and they are planning to work on that. They have a couple of other areas they want to work on as well, tax incentives and other things like that. So the other committees are going to either mark up or give their ideas to Senator Reid. We have placeholders in our bill that were written in concert with those committees.
So you see how the waters can be muddied here regarding a timeline, and Barbara Boxer is unclear about who may or may not mark up this bill at all among these committees. Now, issue on jurisdiction regarding specifically emissions allocations. Barbara Boxer talked about this yesterday. Max Baucus is a Finance Committee chairman. He has said that he wants authority over those. Yesterday, Boxer said, "That's fine." And she, quoting now, "At the end of the day," she said, "this has to be a collaborative process." Susan, you also heard her refer to the Agriculture Committee. The new chairman there is Blanche Lincoln of Arkansas. She has issues regarding offsets. Boxer, again, very conciliatory when she says this, that Lincoln apparently definitely has other ideas on this. Those are the words of Barbara Boxer, but she said very clearly, Harry Reid will have the final say on what hits the Senate floor.
He compiles all of this together. So Boxer talked about the behind-the-scenes work on the bill. What do we know so far about the discussion so far?
Well, the only energy sector that Boxer specifically discussed yesterday had to do with coal. She said that Tom Carper, who is a subcommittee chairman on clean air and nuclear energy within the Environment Committee, has led the working group on coal. She said he's worked with the offices of Senator Byrd, that's West Virginia, Senator Casey from Pennsylvania, Senator Warner from Virginia. Those are all coal states to some degree. What Kerry-Boxer has in place right now, $10 billion over 10 years for carbon capture and sequestration research. But Boxer said that thanks to Tom Carper, quoting now, "We've made tremendous progress on coal." She said details would be available sometime soon. She also mentioned that Max Baucus, John Kerry, Arlen Specter, these three big guns in the Senate, they all have taken the lead so far. And she pointed out that midnight on Friday, just about a week ago, we came very far. Those are her words regarding the progress and the specifics included in this bill. But interestingly enough, Susan, she was very forward when she said this, very direct, and this contradicted what she said several months ago about bipartisan support. Yesterday she said we don't have any Republicans on board with this and have not since we lost John Warner.
So where does Kerry Graham lay into all this?
I think that's a bit more of an alliance. John Kerry has worked on that with Lindsey Graham. Clearly, Barbara Boxer is not counting the South Carolina Republican as being on board with this bill yet. That's because Graham and Kerry, in their New York Times op-ed that came out over the weekend, listed 5 separate areas where they wanted specific inclusion in the Kerry-Boxer bill. Nuclear is one, coal is another also. Trade protections, for lack of a better term, could be included in there. So, Susan, I think that she counts Lindsey Graham, and this may be a good look at the inside workings of this, as being conditionally on board until he sees what he wants in this bill. He's not voting for it.
Okay. Tyler Suiters, thanks for that explanation.
Sure.